Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are and however you may be listening, welcome to another video. Today we are going to be talking about some more basketball. Because I can honestly say, from the bottom of my heart, I've had a relatively good time watching the NBA playoffs. And I have two games that we are going to cover with you today. We are going to be talking about the New York Knicks beating the Boston Celtics last night. And Sunday night, the Golden State Warriors beat the Rockets in Game 7. I'm going to be giving y'all my analysis of these games. But before we get into all that, make sure you guys always stay up to date on my channel by hitting the subscribe button on the channel, tapping that notification bell to get notified when all of my videos go live. And without further ado, let's get right to the video. First game we're going to be talking about is the Golden State Warriors. I recently made a video on them a couple of days ago, and I stressed about how there was probably an opportunity where they were going to pull off another choke job like they did in 3-1 against LeBron James, and then back in 2018. Sorry, not 2018, 2016, 2017 season. And I said that the Rockets were more physical than the Warriors were. They were younger. Golden State in Game 6 played their starters, specifically Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, 42 minutes. So the odds of them going into this game in Houston and beating Houston were severely slim, in my opinion. But was I severely wrong? Steph Curry struggled in the first half, came in very clutch in the second half of the game, producing at a high level. Buddy Hield, somebody who has been streaky his whole career in the NBA, came up and dropped a 33-piece for the Warriors. And this is something I have to give the bench credit for the Golden State Warriors. I said in my last video, the Warriors are going to have to get more production outside of outside of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. Draymond wasn't scoring. Buddy Hield weren't scoring. GP2 weren't scoring. The post wasn't scoring. Pods, he's hitting or miss here and there. Kuminga, we're not even going to get on him. He's lost as a beating high weeds. So you only had Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry being the only ones being able to produce consistently on offense. But this game specifically, Draymond Green, right off the gate in the first half, scoring, hitting threes, getting to the basket. Draymond ended up scoring 16 points. He shot 2 for 8 from 3, which all the three-pointer misses came in the second half of the game. But he shot 50% from the field. Jimmy Butler, he had 20. Curry had 22. Buddy Hield had 33. Buddy Hield was 9 from 11 from 3, 12 from 15 from the field. I was watching the game live, and every time Buddy Hield got the basketball, he shot it. He stressed in his post-game interview about how he was talking to Kevin Looney, and he felt like he was going to be able to get in the better rhythm now that he was in the starting lineup. Steve Kerr did not start him in Game 6. He started GP2 because nobody was able to stop Fred VanVleet consistently. Steph Curry couldn't. Pods couldn't. So he felt the need to start GP2 over Buddy Hield. Even in this game, Fred VanVleet still had his way. But give credit to where credit is due. Buddy Hield came in the starter lineup, made his presence felt, because there was a stint, I think it was towards the end of the first half, where he hit that half-court shot, and it was all she wrote from there. Buddy Hield came out in the second half, guns blazing, shooting the basketball very well. Felt like we was back in the Sweet 16 in his Oklahoma days, the way he was shooting the basketball yesterday. But it was an all-around great effort by the Warriors. Jimmy Butler, at one point in the second half, they was only up 3. Jimmy Butler hit a tough corner 3 to put them up 6. The Warriors were they were leading majority of this game, and they were able to keep the Rockets behind them and not letting the game get tied or let there be a lead change. They were managing the game. Steve Kerr did a great job controlling the game, keeping your substitutions up to date based on the matchups. Something that I stressed about in the last video, even though he did give Kuminga a chance early on in the game, but when Kuminga's on the court, he looked lost. it's just he doesn't seem like he belongs for some reason. He's super talented, but at the same time, this part of his game is not there. The thinking part of his game is not there. And it was on display in this game. So I think mentally he's checked out because Steve Kerr has told Kuminga that he cannot trust him. And it showed in this game. Kuminga was checked out. So he got out. But something I had to give Steve Kerr credit for, subbing in Kevin Looney and handling that matchup that gave them fits in game 6 with Steven Adams and Şengün playing the 4 and the 5 and out rebounding the mess out of the Warriors. Like, they were killing the Warriors on the glass. So he put Kevin Looney in, was able to get a body on Steven Adams, and able to maintain the offensive rebounding that was occurring in this game. But outside of that, that's from the Warriors' point of view. With the Rockets, Amen Thompson played the game of his life. Rookies, it's his second year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. First major playoff series, he played absolutely well. He scored 24 points in this game. He just couldn't get any help. Fred VanVleet did all he could. He didn't have a spectacular game like he had the past 2 games in game 5 and game 6, but he was still, he made shots when he needed to make shots. It's just another Jalen Green no-show. Only scored 8 points. 0 for 2 from 3, 3 from 8 from the field. Şengün, he still put up some numbers, but it wasn't his most efficient night. He shot way, way below 50% from the field. 2 for 4 from the free throw line. He made the only 3 that he took, which was at the very end of the ball game. And Dillon Brooks, he's not going to be your offensive guy. He's just there to run his mouth and play defense. Jabari Smith off the bench didn't do much, hit 1 3, and then Steven Adams, he played a significant amount of minutes because Ime Udoka was trying to utilize that big-on-big matchup, but inevitably Steven Adams, he was only there for the offensive rebound aspect of the game. But give kudos to the Warriors. They did a great job maintaining their win, maintaining the lead, rather, if I'd rather say that, maintaining their lead and not allowing the Rockets to get hope. One thing that we can say, Steph Curry owns the Houston Rockets in the playoffs. He is now 4-0 against them in the last, I believe, 7 years. No, maybe actually 10 years since his very first series when he won his first championship when he beat the Rockets. And we got to give Steve Kerr credit. He stuck to his guns. He went away from his game plan and probably what he wanted to do, using Kevin Looney, giving him big minutes. And he ran an 8-man rotation. Kevin Looney played 11 minutes. Kuminga played 7 minutes, even though they were insignificant minutes. And Moses Moody played 11 minutes. So you ran a 7-ish man rotation. Steph Curry playing 46 minutes, Jimmy playing 45. And they were able to get the job done. Moving on to this next upcoming series against the Timberwolves. The Warriors are going to have their work cut out for them. We saw what Rudy Gobert was able to do against the Lakers. The Lakers didn't have no big. The Lakers were playing as small as the Warriors was in this series. Rudy Gobert was having a field day. Naz Reid is going to have a field day. I expect Steve Kerr to try and probably utilize Kevin Looney more in this series because he's going to have to. I don't see a scenario where you're going to have to get Draymond Green, Pods, and Jimmy in there to get scrappy for a rebound. Steph Curry's not going to be your rebound guy. Buddy Hield's not going to be your rebound guy either. I think the Warriors should keep their starting lineup the way it is. Buddy Hield, Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Pods, and Draymond. I think it's an efficient lineup. It's a small lineup, don't get me wrong. But Moses Moody and Kuminga coming off the bench is going to have to be your go-to guys. And let's just be serious. The Warriors, if they could win this series, it would be a great season. Because this team is not made to build a title. They're really one piece away. If the Warriors can get a third scoring option, they would be good. The Warriors are just missing a piece. They're missing a really good big. Can you imagine if the Warriors had a big that was efficient like Şengün in the post and able to work the post alongside Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry? They would arguably be the favorite to win the championship. because I feel that the Warriors are just one piece away from being a very good team with the potential of Steph Curry getting his 5th championship. It's definitely not going to happen this season. I just don't think they have the depth that they need and the height that they need. But if they have a chance against the Timberwolves, they're just going to have to shoot the ball efficient. They're going to have to push this series 7 games. Because I don't see a scenario where you're going to be able to shoot well every single night. You're going to have a good night one night, you're going to have a bad night the other. The Timberwolves they're going to be able to play either way. They're going to be able to score either way. They can score in the paint and score outside. They can dunk the ball down low to Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid off the offensive rebounds. Anthony Edwards, Mike Conley shoot the 3 ball. Jay McDaniels shoot the 3 ball. Anthony Edwards driving in the lane. The Wolves can score in many fashions. The Warriors are going to have to live and die like they did this game by the long ball. Steph Curry, although he was pushing the paint and trying to score in the paint, and he was driving, getting fouled, getting to the free throw line. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. But this game is the way the Warriors are going to have to win this series, they are going to have to minimize the amount of offensive rebounds that the Timberwolves are going to get. Steve Kerr, they play tonight. It's going to be a short turnaround, so hopefully Steve Kerr in these last Sunday night on the plane ride up to Minnesota and yesterday in practice, he was able to get some type of quick little game plan in. I'm pretty sure he probably had all of this together before the playoffs even started. But I hope he has a contingency plan because it's going to get rough if they cannot offensively rebound the ball. So shout out to the Golden State Warriors. They didn't end up choking. They ended up doing what champions do, going in, Game 7, Steph Curry, your star players, coming up in the clutch when they need to, getting a pivotal player like Buddy Hield to drop 33 points in his first ever playoff series, if I am not mistaken. It was huge. And it shows the potential of what this team can be if they just get a future piece. And that's all that they are missing. Moving on to the next game, comment down below what you guys think about the Warriors game. Did you enjoy it? Do you think they have a chance against the Timberwolves? Do you think the Houston Rockets have a promising future? Because they are a team who I believe is one piece away as well. They need another scoring option outside of Şengün and Fred VanVleet. Because Jalen Green relatively showed his youth in this game. I know a lot of people are flirting with the idea of possibly getting Giannis and KD. But what that would do, you would have to trade away a guy like Jalen Green. But Jalen Green is too talented. He's young. And I would kind of pause the brakes on possibly putting him in a trade package for somebody like KD or Giannis. More likely I would for KD. Giannis, I would consider it because Giannis is still young. He's got another 7-8 years that he's going to be able to play. But for somebody like KD, I would wait. Jalen Green, he has potential to be a great player. His youth showed in this game. The moment felt big for him. I know Doris Burke on the play-by-play commentary, color commentary, stated that Jalen Green said that it was different. The moment was too big for him. It showed in his game. So I would wait on a trade for KD, but I would flirt with the idea for Giannis. But I still do think they should give Jalen Green the chance. This team was super young. Their future is bright. So the Rockets have a bright future. Do you guys think that they should potentially flirt with the idea of giving up Jalen Green for another big superstar to bring to their market? Y'all let me know that down below in the comments. Now, the game that I was looking forward to, the series that I have been looking forward to, the New York Knickerbockers going up against the Boston Celtics. I'm a Jason Tatum fan. I'm a Jason Tatum guy. But I love watching the New York Knicks. I love storylines. You have the mecca of basketball in New York going up against the history of the Boston Celtics, the championships. The Bill Russells, the Jason Tatums, Paul Pierce, Rajon Rondo, Kevin Garnett, the the plumber, the guy that JJ Redick called the plumber back in the day, Bob Cousy. You just have the Celtic stature, John Havlicek, Kevin McHale. The list goes on and on of the superstars for the Celtics. And then you have the Knicks, the mecca of basketball. Patrick Ewing, Starks, the team that should have won a championship in the 1990s, but they had to go up against Michael Jordan. It's history. Carmelo Anthony. I loved it. And I was looking so much forward to it. Don't forget Larry Bird, Larry Legend. I was looking forward to it, and did this series not disappoint? The game was relatively close in the first half. And then in the second half, well, towards the end of the first half, the Celtics got away from the Knicks. It was all falling apart. Karl Anthony Towns could not buy a bucket, kept either turning the ball over or taking a bad shot. So at one point, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Celtics were up 20 or 18-17 at halftime. Going out from halftime, it was still relatively somewhat the same. But something happened with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. The Knicks would go on a 28-9 run, going into the fourth quarter, scoring 8 straight points. And all of this was led by big body Jalen Brunson, number 1, and OG Anunoby, number 2. Mainly OG Anunoby. He was the main reason why the Knicks were able to storm back from a 20-point deficit. Because when either Derek White was coming down and making a 3, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, didn't matter. OG Anunoby was coming up on the other side of the offensive end, and he was answering. He was getting to the basket. OG Anunoby was legit able to do whatever he wanted to do last night. And it helped pivot the Knicks up to put them in a position to come back in this game. Relatively all season, the Celtics have been riding and dying by the three-point ball. This is the main reason why the Knicks were able to come back. Because the Boston Celtics are liable to shoot themselves out of a ball game. The Boston Celtics shot a playoff record 45 missed three-point shots last night. This team is super frustrating to watch. It's the way they play basketball. A lot of NBA fans have been complaining about it. But the reason why the New York Knicks were able to come back is because on the other end, the New York Knicks was draining their threes. And at one point, the Boston Celtics could not buy a bucket from the three-point ball. Derek White was bricking. Jason Tatum, specifically, 0-7 in the fourth quarter. He was bricking. There was a point when the game was on the line and it was close before overtime in the fourth quarter. Jason Tatum was frustrating me. He was being guarded by Jalen Brunson. All Jason Tatum had to do was drive, get to the basket, get fouled, Jason Tatum, you're 6'9", 6'10". What was Jason Tatum doing? He was hitting the dribble step back, trying to shoot a three-point ball. This team is super frustrating. Same thing with Derek White. Nobody was driving to the hole. Al Horford can barely move. So obviously he is going to be relatively tied to the three-point line. But it's something Joe Mazzulla needs to reinvigorate with his offense, because the Celtics are the Knicks are scrappy. They are a team that has grit and grind. They were known for that last season. Going into this season, it wasn't relatively the same because they have a different players. The Donve DiVincenzo aren't there no more. Hartenstein, 2 gritty players that fit the Knick culture. But guys like Mikal Bridges, he showed up this game and showed why the Knicks gave up 5 first-round picks for him, even though I still think they should have never done it. But it showed on the defensive end of the floor. Karl Anthony Towns, defense. OG Anunoby, defense. Josh Hart, offensive rebounds. They showed their grit in this game. Josh Hart with all those nice offensive boards, letting big body Brunson shoot that left-hand three-point ball. Yeah, multiple times in this game. It was that collective effort. So, Joe Mazzulla, when you're a team that's shooting a lot of three balls and the three ball's not landing, you put yourself in a spot like you did tonight and make yourself liable for a team like the Knicks to come back because you're being inefficient on offense. Set up something in the paint. Make Jason Tatum drive. Make Jaylen Brown drive. There's no reason why you're up 15 plus points and we're still jacking up threes like we got to come back from 15 points. Manage the game. You know how frustrating it is watching Jason Tatum, a superstar, an all-pro, future Hall of Famer, being guarded by somebody who's 7-8 inches shorter than he is, and he's still living and dying by the three-point basket. Come on, Jason Tatum. At one point, especially in the end of the fourth quarter, Jason Tatum could barely hit the rim. He hit the side of the backboard 2 times in a row, if I'm not mistaken. What are we doing, Jason Tatum? That's one aspect of it that needs to change. And the question is Game 2 going to be a must-win for the Boston Celtics? I would think so. Do you know how good the Knicks could possibly feel if they go up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics, a team who just won the championship this last season, who has been heavily favored to win this series? I've heard Celtics in 5, Celtics in 7. I really had heard anybody say Celtics in 7. They think that the Celtics have the capacity to get this done in 5 or 6 games. So the Knicks know the disrespect. A team led by Tom Thibodeau, who is going to live and die by playing good defense, being a scrappy team. They have the formula to be able to combat somebody like Joe Mazzulla's team. Because Joe Mazzulla's team doesn't have that grit and that grind. They are going to live and die by the three-point ball. They got nobody in there that's going to get scrappy. Marcus Smart isn't there anymore. The one center that they had that they got rid of, I can't remember his name. He's not there anymore. Jason Tatum is not your type of guy who's going to get down and get dirty. I don't want to classify him, but he's more of a pretty boy. But he is that pretty boy that he's going to kill you with your skill, with his skill. But he's not that player who's going to get down and get dirty for a play. Jaylen Brown, he can get cute sometimes as well, especially right there in overtime, last play of the game. Jaylen Brown gets the ball off the inbound, and he allows Mikal Bridges just to steal the ball out of his hands. They don't have that scrappy player like the Knicks have. The Knicks have that heart. But one thing that the Celtics have, and it's something, and the reason why they won a championship last year, and the reason why they're favored to win another one this year, they have the skill. They have the depth. And they have 2 all-pro players. I love Karl-Anthony Towns, but he and Jalen Brunson, but they're not Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But Jalen Brunson is going to be the key player that is going to be pivotal for the Knicks to win this series. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's got to stay out of foul trouble and be more efficient on the offensive side of the ball. Mikal Bridges, I would love to see him up his offensive ante. But if OG Anunoby can be like this, that he don't even have to score 29. If OG Anunoby can give you 16 plus, 18 plus, Josh Hart give you 10, 12. Karl-Anthony Towns gave you 14. That's not going to last forever. If you could get Karl-Anthony Towns to average at least 20, Jalen Brunson is going to easily give you 25 plus. OG Anunoby give you about 16, 17. Josh Hart, you can win this game. Mikal Bridges only had 8 points. Mikal Bridges, he was 3 for 13 from the field. Mikal Bridges has a lot in the tank that he can contribute to the team. And McBride can give you some good minutes as well. So you're essentially running a 7-man rotation as well. But the Knicks have the chance to beat the Celtics in this series. The Celtics do not need to let their guard down with the Knicks. I still think the Celtics is going to win this series in 6. But make no mistake, if they lose tomorrow night and give the New York Knicks hope, and you got to go to Madison Square Garden, which I have said plenty of times that the Garden is not as frightening as people make it out to be. People love to go to the Garden and play. For some reason, it's like playing against the Dallas Cowboys. You love to go into Jerry World and beat Dallas. You love to go into Madison Square Garden and beat the Knicks. I mean, it's like Christmas Day for basketball players. I will never understand it. This is going to be a great series. I'm looking so much forward to it. What do you guys think? Do you think the Knicks are going to be able to win this series? Who do you have winning the series? Do you think Jason Tatum is going to have to step his game up in order for the Celtics to win? Because I truly think he is going to have to. Let me know down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video and this analysis of these games, let me know down below in the comments. Tap that notification bell to get notified when all of my videos go live, and hit the subscribe button on the channel. Make sure you tap the like button as well. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you guys for joining me. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See ya.